Good to be back with you on Zoom. At least we're here. This morning, before we start our congregational song, I'd like to play a little piano song for you. That's a favorite of a lot of yours. And it's a song, I Am So Blessed. Now it's time for you to sing. And the song we're going to sing, I Give Thanks for My Good Right Now. And it goes like this. Now it's time to sing. I am open to my good right now. I am open to good. I am open to my good right now. I'm open to good. I'm open to good. I bless my good right now. I'm blessed my good. I'm blessed my good right now. I'm blessed by good. I am blessed by good. I give thanks. I give thanks. I give thanks for my good right now. I give thanks for my good. I give thanks for my good. I am open. I am open right now. I am open to my good. I am open to my good right now. I am open to good. I am open to good. I am open to good.
Kim, you're muted.
Forever, huh? I could talk forever. Welcome, everyone. I'm so pleased to see you all and so glad to be here. My name is Kimberly Bebo, and I'm a ministerial candidate, soon to be taking all sorts of exams and things. And I'd like to read our vision and mission statement today. Spiritual community dedicated to evolving consciousness through teaching spiritual principles. And today I have the pleasure also of reading the announcements. One of our exciting announcements is that we have a new mobile application, still on Vanco, but it's Vanco Mobile. And so you can download that for free at the App Store or Google Play. And you can make a one-time donation, a recurring giving amount through the app. and you just select your fund and the amount and enter a payment method. Starting September 20th, which is 2 Mondays from now, next week, Reverend Steve will be teaching Foundations of Science of Mind, and that will go from September 20th through November 22nd. It'll be 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's a 10-week class and it's free. The registration fee does have to be paid, and there is a textbook that you will buy. You also must agree to sign a commitment to complete.
Recording in process.
Okay. There's also spiritual economics given by Sherry Davis. This is an 8-week class beginning Monday, October 4th and ending November 22nd. It's 3 to 6 p.m. on Zoom. It'll be taught by Sherry Davis, as I said. And there's a class fee of $165. That does include the registration fee. There's also a book called Spiritual Economics. More information. We have more information in the e-news or through Sherry Davis. Our annual members meeting will be at noon on Zoom, unless we can be in live, in which case there will be both. At the Sunday service on September 26th, so the last Sunday of the month, we will be voting in our board candidate, should you choose, and we must have a quorum to hold the meeting and to do any kind of voting. So it would be great if you could be there for that day. That's September 26th. You should have received by now a letter in the mail stating all of those things. Our GPCSL meditation continues Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings, 9 a.m. And it's a brief uplifting meditation hosted by Paul Domoleski, a practitioner, and Reverend Steve. The Zoom room is open 8:45 for connecting and sharing, and all are welcome. Please share this link, which is on the e-news, and invite your friends or family, wherever they may be, to enjoy this quick, super spiritual vitamin. Everyone is welcome. And now I turn it over to Paul Peterson, our board president, and she's going to make an announcement. Thank you.
Good morning. I am going to speak to you as the board president for Guy Young. I see he's here, but I'm not sure that he can connect with us verbally yet. But what I'd like to do is talk with you a little bit about the reasons that he would like to be part of our board and his qualifications. So Guy has been an ordained minister since 1973 in the Disciples of Christ denomination. And that's a large church in the Bay Area called People's Temple Christian Church. Having been an active minister in the past and being involved with other ministerial organizations, I believe this has given me the experience to serve on our board. My wish is to become more involved in the workings of the center and in our future activities. I am currently studying to be a practitioner and will eventually, my plan is to move into ministerial school and become a minister in our organization. So that's all I have from Guy. And he will, I think, be with you so you can remember what his face looks like next week. So, thank you. And now Dave will lead us in We Are One.
We are one. We are one.
And you
We are one.
in this harmony.
We are one.
Welcome. Welcome to the Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Paula Peterson, your podium practitioner for today. Please join me in reading the gratitude. Thank you, Rhonda. I am grateful to embrace new ways of being that help me to evolve and grow. And so it is. Thank you, Rhonda. Carol Wythe is our table practitioner. She's holding the high watch for us. And that means she is holding all of us in the highest consciousness in our sacred space, in this Zoom room. And it's a very important job. Thank you, Carol, for being here. If you're in need of prayer, please submit a prayer request on our website. And now let's read our prayer together. Today's prayer. With an open heart, I allow myself to transcend old ways of being that don't serve me. I am a channel for good and help in the evolving of our consciousness in beneficial ways. Let's read that one more time. That is so beautiful. With an open heart, I allow myself to transcend old ways of being that don't serve me. I am a channel for good and help in the evolving of our consciousness in beneficial ways. And so it is. And now, Dave, will you please lead us in I Am Loved? Thank you, Dave. And now I'd like to read from an excerpt from Take the High Road to Happiness by Ernest Holmes. He read this excerpt in a radio show in 1950. And I'd like to read part of his meditation that he wrote. I just love it. I know the divine spirit is operating through me now. I know I am not limited by anything that has happened or by anything that is now happening. I am aware that the truth is making me free from any belief in want, lack, or limitation. I have a feeling of security and of ability to do anything that is mine to do. I am entering into an entirely new set of conditions and circumstances. That which has no limit is flowing through my consciousness into action. I am guided by the same intelligence and inspired by the same imagination that scatters the moonbeams across the waves and holds the forces of nature in its grasp. So let's take a minute or two of silence. If you feel like you want to enter into meditation, that is absolutely fine. And take with you these words. I am entering into an entirely new set of conditions and circumstances. And as you come back into the room, take the awareness of the presence with you. And let's hear from Dave, some special music, followed by Kimberly Bebo's wonderful talk.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And welcome again. It is my pleasure to be on Zoom and being able to speak with you. Much prefer to be in person, but this is where we are right now. And it's still a good place that we can gather, that we can listen with each other and enjoy each other's company. And I'm so glad that you have blessed us with your presence. I'd like to read you a little story. It's about God and me is all of us. Listen carefully. See how your life is unfolding right now, in this very moment. See if sometimes you don't feel like this me that we're talking about would wish God were talking directly to you. And of course, that can always happen. A little prayer, a little meditation, and God does speak. So me asks God and says to God, hello, God. Hello. I'm falling apart. Can you put me back together? I'd rather not. Why? Because you're not a puzzle. What about all the pieces of my life that fall to the ground? Leave them there for a while. They fell for a reason. Let them be there for a while and then decide if you need to take back any of those pieces. You don't understand. I'm breaking. No, you don't understand. You are transcending. You are evolving. What you feel are growing pains. You're getting rid of the things and people in your life that are holding you back. The pieces are not falling. The pieces are being put in place. Relax. Take a breath and let those things you no longer need fall away. Stop clinging to pieces that are no longer for you. Let them fall. Let them go. Once I start doing that, what will I have left? Only the best pieces of yourself. I'm afraid to change. I keep telling you, you're not changing, you're becoming. Becoming who? Becoming who I created you to be. A person of light, love, beauty, joy, grace, and compassion. I formed you for so much more than those shallow pieces you decided to adorn yourself with and that you cling to with so much greed and fear. Let those things fall off of you. I love you. Don't change, become. Don't change, become. Become who you want to be, who you are as the expression and experience of who you are. I'm going to keep telling you this until you remember it. There goes another piece. Let it be like this. I'm not broken. No, you're breaking the darkness. Like the dawn, it's a new day. Become who you really are. Could you see yourself in this me? If you could see yourself as me, can you see how you might feel as though you were breaking apart and leaving big chunks of yourself all over the place? Or maybe just in a heap directly at your feet. Does this feel as though there will be nothing left of you if you continue to break apart? Or do you know that somewhere deep inside of you, that you are the essence of God, that you always have been and always will be? That sloughing off of bits and pieces that no longer serve you could be a very good thing. Learning to know who you are, to know that deep well of strength and beauty allows you to be exactly in the right place at the right time. Oh yeah, divine right timing, the right place at the right time. To learn how to be the expression of God, who is an expression of good. Or maybe you keep hearing or see yourself that none of that is true. Maybe you only see or rather hear what someone told you. Maybe not in so many words, but you got the idea that they might be saying, or at least what you thought they were saying wasn't what you needed to hear. And you held on to those words for dear life, not knowing that God's got you. God is all around. God is everywhere and includes everyone and everything. God is the essence of everything and within all things. What if that me just starts growing and expanding? What if the boundaries that were always there, the ideas that just didn't belong, weren't you? Or who would you thought you were inside just broke apart? Would you die? Would you not be you anymore? Or would you allow yourself to see glimpses of who you are, who you might be in the oneness of God, as the expression of God, with the love of self and other, whoever that is, whoever that other is, whoever you are? Life is all about living from the heart. And as a person's spiritual heart opens, that sense of self opens to divine light, love, and joy. We move through resistance and obstructions, and in that opening, we feel that divine love, light, and joy. And the joy of knowing who you are in the heart of spirit. No one can take away. No one can take that from you. No matter how often someone tries to remove your joy, it is not possible. Maybe for a matter of moments, but never for any length of time. For as God was saying to me in the parable, those negative thoughts that you think are permanently attached to you will fall off as soon as your knowing heart says, oh no, that is not mine. In Science of Mind, we practice compassion as a principle of oneness and of immortality. Compassion honors the true loving nature of others and the loving nature of ourselves, and of ourselves to love others. We must show that compassion to ourselves. And in knowing that compassion for ourselves, others will realize it. As we grow, we enlarge everything about us. Our horizons expand. Our boundaries expand. I bet you didn't even think that you had boundaries. We look outside of ourselves. Yet, if you keep all in perspective, when you look inside, you know the depths of your being. And when we think of eternity, that is so hard for us to grasp sometimes as human beings having a spiritual experience. We are going beyond the limits of what we thought we knew. We are transcending what we thought were dimensions of time and space. And yet, we are experiencing the now in this very moment. When we listen to music and feel touched to our very depths, as a being of love, we are lifted, maybe only momentarily, but we are lifted beyond who we think we are, and we like what we feel. So we seek out that feeling, that awareness that somewhere, maybe in nature, maybe in a sanctuary, maybe in a green cathedral of soaring redwoods, we know that that love, the feeling of awe, is ours to behold. It allows us to deepen into who we are as a human, having a spiritual experience. See, it's even hard for me to say, we are human, but we are having a spiritual experience. We move from what we thought was the God above us to the God within us. as we experience the God within and we learn to express that God within, everything falls into place, grows, and sometimes little bits fall off, but we know, we learn that those are good things to happen. The bits that fall away that no longer are what we need to have in our lives. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said in the Science of Mind textbook, there is then no limitation outside our own ignorance. And since we can all conceive of a greater good than we have so far experienced, we all have the ability to transcend previous experiences and rise triumphantly above them. There is a real benefit to being able to see the previous stages of our lives. For as we transcend these previous stages, we can see the limitations that we put into our energy into. And as we grow and change, those limitations fall away in our ever-expanding consciousness. Many of us were trained to believe that what people think of us is how we should see ourselves. This is the self-esteem that is the outer of who we are, who we think we are. But there is another form of self-esteem, a spiritual self-esteem. It is derived from our relationship with our divine self. It happens. It grows in us as we connect with Spirit. In knowing Spirit, in the connection of who we are the beloveds of God, and nothing ever changes that connection with Spirit. If you could do one thing today that would fill you with love, what would it be? Would you help someone without being asked, or remind someone how much you love them? What would it be? What makes you feel most alive? Remember, this world as we have known it has changed. We have all changed. And this quote from another quote from our founder, Ernest Holmes, and take a thought at this time frame. This was written in February of 2020, Science of Mind magazine. And of course, he wrote it many, 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 many years ago, but it was placed in the Science of Mind magazine. Now, magazines actually publish themselves and are put together months in advance. So the pandemic had not even hit at this point, but we still have words that are important for us today. There is a life we long to experience somehow or other. We are missing the wholeness of things. We uncover the God nature within us, and that subtle, invisible force of life flows more fully between us and all whom we meet. In that uncovering, let us consider then that it is God. And that one God is wherever we are, because God is not divided into fragments. All of God is present wherever we are. God is the essence of who we are. And each of us can say, there is only one God, and that is my God. All that God is my God. Some of that God is in me, or I would not exist. Since God is not divided, as much of God as I recognize, I can experience. This is how we connect with the deep spiritual being we are meant to be. What is your greatest next experience? And can you express it as your greatest next to be? let us go within and pray. And if you would like to gently close your eyes, that would be great. In this moment, in this place, in this knowing that God is all there is, that God is the sun, the moon, the stars, the safe space between, the sky that shows between the leaves of the tree, the water, the ocean as it laps the shore. God is all there is. And in that knowing, God and I are one. God and I are one, and as each knowing that God and I are one, I am knowing for each one of us the connection, the ability to connect and be one with God. I know for each one of us that as this day, this journey of each of our lives unfolds, we will find in our heart of hearts what journey we're on, what joy and music and laughter resonates in our hearts, what peace we become. And as we become that peace, that radiates into our world and becomes power in a way that most don't even understand, but we do. And I am so very grateful. I am so very grateful to know that this is a world that works for each and every one of us as we recognize and are available to receive. And I am so, so grateful for this time and space. And I release this prayer into the loving law, knowing that as it goes forth, it also returns done as it was requested. And if you'll join me in knowing this is so, and so it is. If you will join me in reading the prosperity prayer that should be up on the screen. Aware of the God within me, I give freely and joyously, knowing I am totally fulfilled. Let's read that one more time, knowing that as we give, we receive. Aware of the God within me, I give freely and joyously, knowing I am totally fulfilled. And so it is. And though we don't have a basket to pass around, we do have the new Vanco mobile app. And we welcome your gifts of abundance that you would like to share with us, that we'd share with this center, that we know has always been a part of us. And as we are more able to be together in our center, we know that that abundance surrounds us with love. and peace. Remember today, what is your greatest next experience? And how can you express it as your greatest yet to be? Now, I'd like to offer this closing prayer. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And if you'd like to repeat it with me, I would so love that. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And so it is. Thank you so much for joining us. I believe that we will have breakout rooms open so that you can all have a little discussion with someone. And we'll see you again next week. Thank you.
Is Dave going to play?
And Dave is probably going to play because it's a wonderful.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Day, Spirit, thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Sing it again. Thank you. Have a good week, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.